For years, Amy Brown appeared to be the quiet heart of Alaskan Bush People, a mother who endured the wilderness, cancer, and family hardships with unwavering strength. But once the camera stopped rolling, the truth about her life and the Brown family became far more complicated. From health emergencies that nearly claimed her life to shocking controversies, lawsuits, and a sibling rivalry that spiraled into chaos, Amy's story is one of survival tangled with secrets. And now, new revelations have left fans questioning everything they thought they knew about the matriarch of the Wolfpack. Let's uncover it all. When fans first met Amy Brown in 2014, she was portrayed as the steady force holding her family together in the harsh Alaskan wilderness. That image was tested in 2017 when she received a devastating diagnosis, stage 3 non-small cell lung cancer. Doctors gave her just a 3% chance of survival, and the entire Wolfpack seemed on the verge of collapse. After enduring grueling chemotherapy and radiation, Amy miraculously entered remission in 2020. The family relocated to Washington so she could receive better medical care, but her health struggles never truly ended. Recently, Amy's children revealed she suffered a frightening new emergency. Bird Brown posted that her mother had been rushed to the hospital after struggling to breathe. Tests suggested pneumonia, and Amy was placed under anesthesia so her body could rest. Bird Brown later admitted doctors inserted a breathing tube and airlifted her to a larger hospital. For the family, it was a terrifying reminder of how fragile her recovery still was. Though Amy eventually regained consciousness and was able to speak with her children, the scare left them shaken. Bird confessed he feared losing both parents in just a few years, following Billy Brown's passing in 2021. Fans flooded social media with prayers and concern, but uncertainty still hangs in the air. Amy's health remains closely monitored, and each setback fuels new worries about how much more her body can endure. But while Amy's medical battles played out in public, her past held secrets even more shocking. Long before she became a TV personality, Amy Brown's life took a dramatic turn at just 15 years old. In 1979, she married Billy Brown, who was 26 at the time, a decision that drew criticism then and even more now. She left behind her Texas home, her education, and her family, cutting ties for more than 3 decades. To her relatives, it seemed like she had vanished. The story grew more complicated when Amy's family later accused Billy of misleading them. They claimed he lied about his wealth, hid his divorce, and failed to mention he already had children. This fueled the belief that Billy isolated Amy from her loved ones and steered her into a life that she wasn't prepared for. Her own brother publicly disputed Amy's claims of a difficult childhood, insisting she was the favorite child and describing her as spoiled rather than neglected. Despite these disputes, Amy stayed with Billy, eventually raising 7 children of her own: Matt, Bam Bam, Bear, Gabe, Noah, Birdie, and Rain. Over the years, Amy rarely spoke about her teenage marriage, but fans often questioned how much of it was a choice and how much was pressure. By the time Alaskan Bush People premiered in 2014, Amy had crafted the image of a devoted wife and mother. Yet whispers about her past continued to circle, suggesting her life wasn't the fairy tale wilderness adventure Discovery portrayed. And soon the show itself would face allegations of staging and fakery that threw the entire Wolfpack into doubt. Alaskan Bush People introduced audiences to a family supposedly surviving in the harsh wilderness, cut off from modern society. But as the series gained popularity, critics began poking holes in the story. Local Alaskans claimed the Browns weren't as isolated as the show suggested. Reports surfaced of them having access to vehicles, electricity, and nearby towns, contradicting the rugged image broadcast to millions. Even insiders questioned the authenticity of what viewers saw. Raven Brown, Bear's ex-wife, alleged that only about 10% of the show reflected reality. She claimed much of what fans believed about the family's off-grid lifestyle was staged for cameras. The controversy deepened in 2014 when Amy and Billy faced serious legal trouble. They were indicted on dozens of counts of fraud and falsification after allegedly misrepresenting their residency to collect Alaska's permanent fund dividends. These payments are meant for full-time residents, and prosecutors argued the Browns had spent much of their time elsewhere. The case ended in financial penalties and tarnished their carefully built image of self-reliance. For Amy, the allegations were a devastating blow. As the family's emotional anchor, she had been seen as the most authentic part of the Wolfpack. But with the fraud case and questions about the show's truthfulness, even her role as a devoted homemaker came under scrutiny. Fans wondered, had Amy been complicit in creating a false image of wilderness survival, or was she simply following Billy's lead? Those doubts only grew when financial disputes came to light after Billy's death. After Billy Brown's passing in 2021, Amy found herself at the center of another storm, one that dragged her into courtrooms and lawsuits. investor Robert Morgan filed a breach of contract claim against Billy's estate, alleging that he had invested tens of thousands with the promise of lifelong profit shares from Billy's books, TV deals, and creative works. According to Morgan, those payments never came. What made the case explosive was Amy's involvement. As executor of Billy's estate, she was directly named as a defendant, accused of managing the estate in ways that denied Morgan what he believed he was owed. With Billy gone, Amy carried the full weight of defending both his reputation and their finances. The estate's filings painted a picture of modest assets compared to what fans imagined from years on television. Billy's land, livestock, and personal belongings were valued at under $500,000, a shock given rumors of massive Alaskan Bush People paychecks. Amy's defenders argued that Morgan's claims were exaggerated and opportunistic, pointing out that he waited years before pressing his case. Still, the lawsuit dragged on, fueling speculation about whether the Brown family had squandered their reality TV fortune. For Amy, who had already endured so much loss and illness, the financial battles were another layer of pressure. And just as the legal troubles mounted, another crisis began tearing the family apart from the inside, a bitter feud among the Brown children that exposed rifts no camera crew could hide. The Brown family's unity, once their greatest strength, began to unravel in shocking ways after Billy's death. At the center of the storm was a feud between Noah Brown and his sister Rain. In 2024, Noah and his wife filed for an order of protection, alleging that Rain had threatened him, even referencing firearms. Court documents describe disturbing claims, including a confrontation over malnourished horses, where Noah said Rain threatened to use a gun rather than follow his advice. The situation escalated when Noah accused Rain of using drugs and alcohol, and even of preventing their mother, Amy, from taking her prescribed medications. He went so far as to suggest that Amy herself was falling into dangerous habits under Rain's influence. These claims rocked fans, who had always seen Amy as a strong protective mother rather than someone vulnerable to manipulation. Rain publicly denied the allegations, portraying herself as a sister struggling with mental health issues who was unfairly attacked. She posted cryptic and emotional messages online, hinting at betrayal within the family. Meanwhile, Noah's attempts to secure legal protection were dismissed by the court for lack of evidence. For the Wolfpack, the damage was already done. The once tight-knit family was now deeply divided, with siblings choosing sides and airing grievances in the public eye. And just as the feud seemed to cool, an even bigger scandal erupted, one that pushed Rain and her partner into the headlines for all the wrong reasons. In April 2025, the Brown family was once again thrust into controversy when Rain Brown and her husband Josiah Lorton were arrested on charges of burglary, malicious mischief, and trespass. According to court documents, the couple was accused of stealing $75,000 in cash, firearms, and valuables from Josiah's uncle. The case stunned fans, many of whom had followed Rain since she was a child on the show. Both Rain and Josiah pleaded not guilty, insisting they had been framed or misunderstood. Rain took to Instagram to post a Bible verse about judgment, hinting that she felt betrayed by those close to her. She also accused a former manager of stealing money from her, suggesting she was the real victim. The arrests intensified speculation about Noah's earlier accusations. Had Rain's struggles with substance use and instability spiraled into criminal behavior? Or were the charges a misunderstanding fueled by family disputes and mistrust? For Amy, the ordeal was heartbreaking. As her health remained fragile, she now had to watch her youngest daughter fight legal battles that could end in prison time. Fans rallied online, some defending Rain as a troubled young woman, others condemning her as proof the family's image had been a facade all along. Whether guilty or innocent, the damage to the family's reputation was undeniable. And through it all, Amy remained the reluctant centerpiece, caught between loyalty to her children and the crushing weight of public judgment. Amy Brown's life is a story of contradictions. To millions, she is the resilient matriarch who defied a cancer diagnosis, kept her family together in the wilderness, and outlived impossible odds. Yet behind that image lies a more complicated truth, one shaped by a controversial teenage marriage, questions about authenticity, financial battles, and children who now accuse each other of betrayal. What makes Amy's story so compelling is that it refuses to fit neatly into one narrative. She is both a survivor and a figure surrounded by controversy. Some fans see her as a victim of Billy's controlling influence and the pressures of fame. Others believe she knowingly played a part in staging a false image of survival and continues to hide uncomfortable truths. Now, as new headlines reveal arrests, lawsuits, and explosive sibling rivalries, one question lingers. Is Amy still the strong center of the Wolfpack, or has the family's chaos finally overwhelmed her? One thing is certain, the story of Amy Brown and her children is far from over. Every year brings fresh twists, new allegations, and unexpected revelations that keep fans guessing. Whether admired for her resilience or criticized for the controversies around her, Amy has become one of reality television's most complex figures. So what do you think? Is Amy Brown the quiet survivor holding her family together, or has the truth about the Wolfpack been hidden in plain sight all along? Let us know your thoughts below.